Pragmatism is a process philosophy that stresses evolving and changing rather than being the same over time. It differs from idealism and realism by the belief in an open universe that is dynamic, evolving, in a state of becoming. As you are learning, you're evolving. Pragmatists believe that we learn best through experiences, and pragmatists believe that the experiences change both the knower and the world around the knower. Pragmatists stress the changing nature of the reality. The reality is the world. There are no absolutes, and hence the teacher needs to help the student learn to question what is and what are they solving, and to solve the problems as they naturally occur in nature. Pragmatists believe in a curriculum that draws the disciplines together to solve the problem, or an interdisciplinary approach. Pragmatists believe learning best occurs with hands-on experiments, in which they interact with these experiments in an intelligent and reflective manner. Pragmatists prefer to use learner-centered problems as a teaching focus, that students come up with the problems. Teachers provide technology and/or other resources and encourage the students to collaborate as a learning community to help solve the investigation. Charles introduced the principle that the belief is a habit of action undertaken to overcome indecisiveness. He believed that the purpose of thought is to produce action, and that the meaning of thought is the collection of results of the actions. For example, if something is hard, just like steel, and when you go to scratch it, to perform a scratch test on steel, it will not be scratched by most substances. Maybe a diamond would scratch steel. John related pragmatism to evolution by explaining that humans are creatures who have to adapt to one another and to their environments for survival. Life is a series of experiences and situations, and that the primary unit of life is the individual experience itself. Richard believed that the reality is the outcome of inquiry of experiences. As we inquire new experiences, the nature of these experiences will change what we call real. Disciplines like science, math, art, history are constructed by groups of people who are trying to make sense of the world. Richard also believed that expert knowledge is a simple set of ideas and procedures that have been found to be useful. Existentialism contends that the reality is nothing more than lived experiences, and that the final reality resides within each individual person. They believe that most schools reduce the importance of the individual and the relationship between the teacher and the student. They also believe that the educator's attempts to predict the behavior of their students turns the individual into objects to be measured or processed, which stifles creativity of the student. Students need to be encouraged at schools to discuss their lives and their choices they are making, and the consequences that they are making with these choices. Students need to also know that we can learn by asking questions of one another, suggesting answers to these questions, and engaging in dialogue with one another, and learning from their past and present experiences. The teacher will engage the students in projects and let the students allow their personalities to help them solve the problems. Students learn to define themselves by their choices, and to learn to question projects and life. Jean Paul believed that being comes before the meaning. The process of answering the question, who are we, begins at a crucial event in our lives of young people and called existential moment that point somewhere toward the end of our youth, when individuals realize that we are independent agents and we are our own person. Frederick believed in the importance of individuality of a person. He criticized the way social systems such as modern educational institutes foster a spirit of capitalistic greed. Maxine's work is her unyielded faith in human beings' willingness to build and transcend their lived worlds. She believed existentialism philosophy is one that supports the importance of a human's development, their personal identity in determining what is and what is not significant and or worthy. Eastern ways of knowing stresses inner peace, tranquility, attitudinal development, and mysticism. Eastern ways of knowing emphasizes order, regularity, patience that are both proportional to and in harmony with the laws of nature. Eastern ways of knowing also stresses the inner rather than the outer world, institutional rather than sense, and mysticism rather than scientific discoveries. Eastern ways of knowing begin with the inner world and then reach out to the outer world of phenomena. Eastern thinkers have always concerned themselves with education, which they view as a way of achieving wisdom and maintaining family structure, establishing laws, and providing social and economic concerns. Far Eastern India thought of it as long, complex history and is permeated by opposites. There is a great emphasis that is placed on the search for wisdom. However, this does not mean a rejection of worldly pleasures. People of Eastern India thinkers insist that knowledge be used to improve both social and communal life, and that people should live accordingly to their ideals. They believe individuals are responsible for what they are and what they will become later in life. People of Eastern Chinese philosophy is a harmony, correct thinking should help one achieve harmony with life. Confucius believed that people need standards for all life, so rules were developed for the wide range of activities. Confucius thought gives education a high place, but stresses building moral character more than merely teaching skills and important information. Children need to obey and defer to parents and respect the wisdom adults have gained in their journey through life with their choices of good and bad. Taoism means the way or the path, is the way of the universe moves, the way perfection and harmony. Japanese put a great emphasis on intuitive, sensible, and concrete events that rather than on universal ideas. Japanese focus on the natural world through many artifacts including patterns of traditional kimonos. Eastern educational ways places a great emphasis on teacher and student relationships. They believe that students change as a result of contact with the guru or master or a prophet. Attitude shaping is important because the attitude of a person holds toward life will determine the individual's level of goodness and wisdom. Eastern ways of knowledge is to put humanity in tune with nature. The most important ideas of it is achieving wisdom, enlightenment, and nirvana. Native American ways of knowing include a variety of sets of beliefs, positions, and customs that span different tribes in North America. These beliefs, positions, and customs center on the relationship of humans to all of nature, including Earth, the Sun, the sky, and beyond. What differs widely among Native American tribes is the relationship and the symbols that form human-to-nature relationships. Traditional stories and beliefs that dictate a way of knowing and living. All these include a reverence of nature and the sense of humans' responsibility to nature. Ways of knowing within the Native American tribes is oral, developed rather than written stories. The Navajo Nation is the largest Native American tribe in the United States. The Navajos' early history was a nomadic, and their thoughts and customs are known for their unique ability to assimilate with other and adapt with other tribes. Navajo teachings and tradition is the value of life lived in harmony with the natural world. The Lakota is based on a mystical perception of the environment. All aspects of the ecosystem, including earth, sky, night, day, sun, and moon, are elements of oneness with which life was undertaken. They celebrate the sacred hoop of life and they observe the 7 sacred rites toward the goal of ultimate communication with the Great Spirit. The Hopi believe in the path of peace, which they believe is the pure and perfect pattern of humankind's evolutionary journey. The road of life for a Hopi is represented as a journey through 7 universes created by the beginning. At death, they conduct a person in accordance with the Creator's plan to determine when and where the next step on the road will be taken. Hopi believe that you must live in harmony with one another, with nature, and with the plan.